Yo, yo. What is up? What is up? How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another episode of I.O.W. Sports. It's episode 246. And as you can tell, it's just me and Anthony tonight. It's just me and Anthony today. It's okay though. Ain't that right, Ant? We gonna hold it down right, dog, right?
We good.
Hey man, how's your weekend, bro?
It was good. Had a little barbecue on Saturday. You know, we were watching sports, paying attention to everything. So I know we got a lot to talk about today.
Oh man, we got a lot. We got a lot to talk about. Let me find out you barbecuing, man. You on the grill, man. What you whipping up, dog? What you whipping up?
On the grill, if I'm on the grill, you know, burger dog, that's the light work. You know, I'm trying to
work.
Broaden my game. I'm trying to broaden my game, you know what I'm saying? Get some chicken steak in the summer. I'm gonna practice.
Yeah, man. Hey, practice, man. Hey, we gotta get your grill marks popping on your steaks. You know, gotta get that nice mid-rare medium on that joint. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I let my joint about mid-rare medium. So, you know, hey, next time I'm in Jersey, man, we gonna get you right, dog. We gonna get you right, dog. But no, man. Right. Hey, man, I'm glad that you are here, able to join us. Real quick, go ahead, Anthony. He's building his YouTube channel up. Go ahead, plug that, plug your TikTok page, plug all your social media, my guy.
So my TikTok and my Instagram are both as listed down there, PR3Z Sports. And then my Instagram is Anthony R3204.
Nice. And as always, you can find me, Wildcard Mar, on Twitter, KC Wildcard Mar on Facebook and Instagram. And you can follow us, I.O.W. Sports, every Monday and Thursday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Then myself and MJ got the Late Night Owl every Monday through Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But follow us on all our social media platforms. They're on the bottom of the screen. I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly, the YouTube channel, where you can make sure you like, share, subscribe, and follow all our content. Hit that bell notification, let you know every time we drop new content. And of course, I.O.W. Sports 1 on the Twitter. Like Anthony said, man, we got a lot to talk about. So don't mind us if we're a little NBA heavy today. It's just that the NBA has a lot going on. But I want to start right here. Phoenix Suns got eliminated, and I give credit where credit is due. Anthony was on the show a couple of weeks back, and he brought up a great point about the Phoenix Suns. He said, yo, as much as you get Kevin Durant, there's no depth. There's no bench on that squad. And, well, they pretty much showed as it was in the playoffs. Going against if you ask me, they shouldn't even made it out the first round. The Clippers should have got them had they gotten Russell Westbrook. Just a little bit of help. I'm just saying, you know, if Kawhi or PG plays at least half that series, they win that series. That's just my opinion. But they go up against Denver Nuggets. The Denver Nuggets are definitely a far more well-balanced team. And I don't even know how it got to even, what was it, 5 games, 6 games? I don't even know how it even got there. It should have been a clean sweep. But yeah, I think it was 6-2. But regardless, they get eliminated. And then on Saturday, out of nowhere, literally out of nowhere, the new Suns owner, Matt Ibisha, literally gave Monty Williams the axe. And Monty Williams, 4 years in Phoenix, 4 playoff appearances, 1 NBA Finals appearances, and this guy can't keep his job. So I'm gonna ask you, AR, man, like your first initial reaction, right move by Phoenix, or they reaching, man?
I don't know. They're on the bandwagon of reaching for firing their coaches, in my opinion. I saw a graphic, and it was like the 4 coaches over the last 5 or 6 years with the best record in the regular season has been fired now. So over the last 5 or 6 years, the 4 coaches, because one was repeated, I think it was the Bucks coach, who had the best record in
Boonhausen.
the NBA, is now gone. Don't got a job. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what the Suns expected. I mean, I guess they were listening too much to the people talking about it on social media about, oh yeah, they should win the finals. I don't know. He was a good coach. I mean, I'm sure he'll have a job somewhere else, but I don't know. I just think these owners and these GMs are kind of cutting their coaches loose a little bit too early, in my opinion, especially with success. There's not like they're losing.
It's crazy because when you my first initial thought, I was like, damn, Monty Williams gets the axe. Like, damn, like this dude in the 4 years that he's been here has gone to the finals, been in the playoffs, and then I had another buddy of mine. I'm gonna shout him out, Melvin Wall of Man Down Sports. He brought up some interesting points, and I want to get your rebuttal to him, Anthony, in a second. He made us some good points, and the reason why he could understand why Phoenix fired him. And when you look at a new owner coming in, obviously he didn't pick Monty Williams. You know what I'm saying? So maybe he has an idea in his head on who he thinks should be the right coach. Maybe a Jason Kidd, maybe a Mark Jackson. Who knows what Matt Abisha is really thinking on who he should bring in as his coach. But I got to put into the fact, like my man Melvin Wall said of Man Now Sports, hey, he didn't hire Monty Williams. And you got to also look at the track record of Monty Williams when he's been in Phoenix. Yeah, he's gotten to the finals, but he also made some questionable coaching blunders that possibly could have cost him the finals. I mean, if you ask me, if I'm going against the Bucks and the only person I really got to worry about is Giannis, I think I'm, smart enough and IQ enough in basketball enough to formulate a plan, to win a 7-game series against pretty much a one-man team, because Drew Holiday's not going to be consistent. Chris Middleton is not going to be consistent. I can come up with a plan to beat them. All right. Then, not only that, then you kind of look after the finals. Then the blunder against Dallas Mavericks last year. Then you look at the blunder this year, So you kind of look at almost like a decline in Monty Williams year by year. So finals, second round exit, another second round exit, and you got stars all on your roster. I understand they made the trade for KD, but if you look overall, Phoenix has been pretty much a nice squad. Before they even traded for KD, they were still a nice squad. Oh, yeah. And when you trade after KD, you got KD. There comes a lot of expectations when you have somebody like KD and Booker in your starting lineup. There's a certain amount of expectations. Like you said, a lot of people were thinking they were going to the finals. Me and you were smart. We saw the truth. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So it's like I can understand why they fired him. But then I'm also looking at the fact that I always go back to your main point. When you bring in KD and you have no bench, pretty much, I can't fault Monty Williams for not trusting that bench. Right. They weren't. What were they giving you?
They gave you 2 games. That's about it.
Maybe 1.5. 2 games might be a stretch, dog. Yeah. So I mean, it's like you. Yes, we understand what comes when you have KD, and this is why I don't even want to fault KD for what happened in Phoenix. Because my thing is it's pretty much KD and Booker or bust, and you're relying on 2 superstars. Don't get me wrong, great offensive players, but you're relying everything on them. They're playing 40 plus minutes, right. and you expect that to be a formula to win a 7-game series. Like let's be honest,
right?
You know what I'm saying? But
right.
check this out, Anthony. If we're going to get rid of Monty Williams, then we got to get rid of the general manager James Jones. And the reason why I say that, and credit to Melvin Wall again from Men Now Sports, he said the same thing, and pretty much still in this quote. If you get KD and you just play, well, we got KD, I don't think we need to do nothing else to our squad. No, you as a general manager need to continue doing your job to keep building a more well-rounded team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Patrick Mahomes isn't Patrick Mahomes. Don't get me wrong, he's good, but you know it helps. He has Travis Kelce and a
Right.
good coach that has a good offensive scheme, and it comes with a whole bunch of everything that's included with Patrick Mahomes.
Mhm.
You know, like let's be honest, when the Chiefs had Alex Smith, they were still making it to the playoffs. They weren't winning Super Bowls, but they were still at the door.
Right.
So it's like, you know, you can't just have KD and Booker and be like, guess we're good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's not gonna work that way, no.
No, it's not gonna work. So I mean, I don't know. What's your thoughts on the whole overall thing in general about the whole Monty Williams getting dismissed, Anthony?
Yeah. You know, I think his situation's a little bit different than some of the other guys who've been fired.
Mm-hmm.
Budenholzer has basically had the same team,
Yes,
with little tweaks here or there, you know, for the past however many years. And, you know, he had that team, you know, built and put into the finals, you know, whatever, and consistent 1 seed, 2 seed. You know, things happen this year, injuries, whatever. I feel like his is less deserved, is more deserved than Monty Williams, just for the fact that, again, when you make a trade, and I'm just talking about this season, I feel like Monty Williams is less deserved than Budenholzer's, because 1 seed versus 8 seed. I mean, the 8 seed is now moving on, but they played a Knicks team who wasn't ready to make that next step, and the Bucks were banged up without Giannis. You know what I'm saying?
true.
You know, for Monty Williams, when you make the Kevin Durant trade and you clear house for your bench, I mean, you lost some guys. You know what I'm saying? You lost some guys.
Oh, you lost some very important studs, man.
Exactly. I forgot how many picks they had given up for Kevin Durant as well. But when you get Kevin Durant and you clear your bench out like that, that was the criticism. You know, who's going to be able to step up on that bench to help them out? Because, again, you can't blame Kevin Durant on this one. It wasn't like he stunk the bed. I mean, for the most part, he was hooping. He was getting his. He was doing what he got to do to try to win the game. But as a general manager, when you clear house on a trade like that, you then gotta, all right, when you make that trade for Kevin Durant, it's win now. That's what you want. You want to win a championship this year. So why not, you know, take some future picks in a team that's not contending? You know, let's get one of their guys. You know what I'm saying? Let's try to bring in some dudes who aren't top end players by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah.
But guys who can come off the bench and give these dudes a rest.
15 to 20 points. That's all you're asking for.
Exactly. Guys who can play some deep 3-and-D players like you lost in that trade. So
great point.
You know, when you don't fill in those gaps that you opened up by when you traded Kevin Durant, you can't expect now a coach to wave a magic wand and have his bench players just elevate their game to what they're not capable of playing.
Bingo.
So in this scenario, for this year in specific, I mean, last year when they blew that lead against the Dallas Mavericks, they were by far the better team. There was no doubt about that.
They were way in beyond the better team.
So you can look at it as the coach didn't coach well, or you can look as the players just didn't perform. Which with the Phoenix Suns, besides the year they went to the championship, we've seen that before with that core. Booker not showing up, Paul not showing up. So that's like a 50-50 toss-up. But this year in specific, I don't think it's his fault at all. He played and did what he can do. You can see the problems when they were playing the Clippers, what their issues were. And everyone was basically saying it. When they go play the Nuggets, those problems are going to get exposed. You know what I'm saying? The Nuggets are a team that's ready to compete for a championship, as we see. So it's no surprise they got bounced, but I don't think that Monty Williams this year in specific deserved to get cut.
I'm with you. No, I'm with you on that. And going back to your point about Budenholzer, I can make a case that, you know, that he, you know, should have retained his job as well. Because when you look at, you know, we've made no buts about, you know, the inconsistency of the surrounding cast outside of Giannis. I mean, at this point, it's like when you you win the finals and you keep, you know, being a top seed in the East, and you're still doing this with pretty much Giannis and inconsistency around him, to me that shows a good coach.
It's impressive. It's impressive.
Yeah, to me that's impressive. Because I mean, I hate to beat the dead horse, but damn it, I got Giannis, and that's pretty much it. Right. So I'm looking at, if coaches are getting fired for the lack of success, even though Budenholzer just won a championship 3 years ago, which is baffling to me that 3 years later you're losing your job. But I got to look at these general managers. Why don't you up your roster and stop thinking that you can just win with just Giannis? You should always be questioning, can we get better? Can we get better? Maybe I need some more consistent players that's going to help Giannis. Maybe like you said, maybe I should get more people around KD and all that. So it's baffling to me. Got a couple of comments. Thomas Scott says Suns should trade Ayton for Embiid. No heart in sight. Trade him. We'll have a conversation about Embiid in a few minutes because there's some things that need to be said about him too. Mm-hmm. And don't get me wrong, we'll come back to this comment from you, Thomas. He says Mark Jackson better be the Suns' next coach. I'm tired of the NBA holding this man back. He built the Warriors before Steve Kerr stole it from him. You know what, Thomas? I always equate Mark Jackson to Steve Kerr to when you had Tony Dungy in Tampa Bay and John Gruden stepped in. As in, Tony Dungy was like Mark Jackson, built up Tampa Bay like Mark Jackson built up Golden State, probably pretty much built the foundation. Right. Then whatever differences happened, those coaches moved on. And then you see coaches swoop in. John Gruden stepped into a Super Bowl built team, won a Super Bowl his first year in Tampa Bay. Steve Kerr steps in after Mark Jackson built the foundation, wins 4 championships. So, hey, you would never get an argument from me, Thomas, that I think Mark Jackson by far should always be the number one candidate for a coaching vacancy. If any organization running it, if they're smart, you should call Mark Jackson first. That should be your first call. Now it's up to Mark Jackson if he wants the job. I know he's getting paid pretty well by the Mickey Mouse over there in Disney and ESPN. So, his job is pretty plush. Ain't got to worry about no divas, no attitude. Superstars don't want to buy into his system. All he gets to do is sit there, get paid millions and commentate on the game that he loves. So, that's kind of hard to tempt the guy that's been in the booth for a minute to come back to coaching, right now, because his job is plush. So, I'm with you on that. Shout out to Frank. He says, who's going to win it all? Honestly, man, I don't know. You take that question. You
know my answer. You know my answer. Lakers win it all, man. Lakers win it all.
Hey, man, I got to be honest, man. Me being a Lakers fan, I did not see this. I did not see this. I did, however, enjoy the fact that they did improve their roster after the trade. You know what I'm saying? And they did improve. And, they were still kind of playing good basketball, but still record-wise, they were still middle of the pack because they were pretty much in a hole.
So far behind. I mean, they started 2-10. They started 2-10. They were terrible.
Yeah. And so it took a minute for that new roster after the trade to kind of start formulating and get together and start playing as a cohesive unit. And shout out to Man Down Sports. Melvin Wall is in the building. Shout him out real quick. He made a great observation. Usually you see LeBron being so ball dominant. After the trades, they got better defense, got better shooters. And so you saw more LeBron not being so ball dominant. It was able to, play a little bit off ball and not, 60, 70% usage rate when he's over there pretty much controlling everything. So Melvin says, whoever the NBA wants to win, I got a good feeling it's Jokic year or maybe Boston. Interesting take. Frank says, if I had to pick, I'm going with Boston. I can see Boston definitely possibly winning it. I'm really stuck on the Lakers and Nuggets, and the reason why is because even when the play-in first started, I was hoping that the Lakers would win that 7th seed so they can go ahead and face the 2 seed. Because I felt like if they went against the Nuggets, I thought it would be a bad matchup because who's pretty much gonna, go toe to toe for Jokic, but then at the same time, the way that Jokic has been playing and the way that AD has been playing, I'm pretty sure that AD could probably give a good 7-game series competition with Jokic. I think that'd be a good matchup. Yeah. What you think?
I forgot their record at home, but I know the Nuggets barely lost at home this year. And I remember the Lakers. The Lakers are one of the teams that actually beat them at home, and I like the matchup at AD and Jokic because the way AD's been playing, he's playing like his old self in the sense where defensively, he's back to that level to where he was at. He's a lot more athletic than Jokic. I feel like in general,
a lot more athletic than Jokic.
Exactly, and
you're more athletic than Jokic.
Yeah, by far more athletic than Jokic. But I mean, if you look at it, AD, athletic-wise, the way he's playing defense, I like that matchup more than obviously Ayton. Don't play defense.
Oh,
he's not a guy who you can rely on. The first round, they played the Timberwolves, right?
Mm-hmm.
Cat's not good at defense, and Rudy Gobert's a bum. I'm tired of hearing about him. So, that's my thing. That's my thing. AD is the best center that Jokic has played so far in the playoffs, and he's playing at an amazing level right now compared to what he's been playing. So, in my opinion, I feel like it's going to go the same exact way as every series has gone. The Lakers are going to come out. They're going to win game 1. They don't give a damn if they get blown out game 2 because they know when they come home, they're almost unbeatable at home. They have handled everybody at home so far in this playoffs.
Yeah.
So, again, you got Jokic, you got Murray. They got some bench, but I feel like, Aaron Gordon is going to be on LeBron. LeBron off ball, I feel like LeBron wins that matchup. You have Vanderbilt, who played, I think, amazing defense on Curry.
Amazing defense.
I mean, in that spot, why can't you put Vanderbilt on Murray? Is Murray as good of a scorer and as more of a threat than Curry?
Nope.
I don't think so. Obviously not. So I feel like in this matchup, I feel like the Lakers with this new roster, I think that they're going to win this matchup. I think it'll be about 6 games again because of the way they've been handling it. Getting that first game, they take back home court and they get it done 6. So that's my take for it.
Yeah, you bring up some good points because that's what worried me at first is like, I don't know if AD is going to be able to get that defensive prowess like he used to have it and be able to guard Jokic. But more and more, like to your point, which I agree with, man, AD has been playing elite on both sides of the court. He's been dominating on defense, protecting the rim, getting his rebounds, and he's still a threat on the offensive side. So I feel, as a Lakers fan, I feel so much more comfortable with this matchup now, going into it now, than I did in the playoffs. Because I thought it'd be a bad matchup going against Jokic. But man, you bring up some excellent points for sure. Now with Jokic, and how they've been reffing him, and my man from Man Down Sports, Melvin, is big on that. He's been, because he's right. To a certain degree, the refs have been blowing the whistle, making sure that, hey, hands off the merchandise. Don't put your hands on Jokic. And Jokic has pretty much been getting away with just about any and everything down in the paint. So let's see if he can. I'm with you. I don't think he can handle AD's athleticism. Because, if you're looking at DeAndre Ayton and AD, I'm going to go with AD athleticism every time.
Exactly.
And I'm gonna go with more heart from AD.
And skill. He's obviously just a better player than Ayton. He's a better player.
Yeah. So I mean, hey, and Mel agrees with you. He says He said that's what should happen if the whistle don't get funny, and you always gotta watch a funny. You gotta watch some funny whistles, bro. Gotta watch some funny whistles. Now let's move over to the East. Because you know your man, the MVP, has some interesting things to say after he got eliminated. And let's take a look at what Joel Embiid had to say after getting eliminated Game 7 the other day.
Joe, just what's the next step for you with James, and like as a tandem going forward, and how much are you going to be in his ear this summer to kind of have him come back here?
We got an unfinished, job. We haven't won anything, and I think we got the chance to win. Obviously going to 7 games, and having a chance to close it out at home, which we didn't do. I still believe we got the chance to win. We got what it takes to win. So obviously I don't know what's going on, and I know he has a player option, so they can extend him. But that's on those guys who figured it out. I'm gonna stay out of it, but I still believe that me and them, and we got the chance to win. But it's gonna take more than us. We all gotta look at ourselves. I got to be better, and I will be better. That's what I'm focused on. All of us, we got to, come back and find ways to just keep improving and, help the team. You can't win alone. I can't win alone. Me and James, we just can't win alone. That's why basketball is played 5-on-5. So, we just need everybody to just try to keep finding ways to get better, and we'll be fine.
Well, a lot to take in there. AR, give me your initial reaction when you heard that quote.
All right, so I've seen people take it 2 ways. I've seen him take it just as him saying, metaphorically, like me and James, we can't be like people taking it as, oh, just because us, we're gonna win. We need dudes around us to step up. Maybe he means make some moves in the off season. Maybe he means bring in a couple guys. Who knows? But when I'm looking at it and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna take it face value. He's basically saying, me and James, we're doing it all for the team. Nobody's helping us. We don't got a bench behind us. We don't got role players behind us, which is nothing close to the truth. But I want to bring up for you some stats in Game 7. All right,
go ahead.
I'm just gonna give you the stats here. I want you to guess the player. 5 for 18 with 15 points, 1 assist, 4 turnovers, and 2 blocks.
If I'm correct, if I saw the stats, if I remember them correctly, I think that was Embiid's stats from Game 7.
Right, that's your MVP. Then you go over to James Harden, 3 for 11. You got 9 points, 7 assists, 5 turnovers, 2 steals, and a block. So Tyrese Maxey had 17. Tobias Harris had 19. PJ Tucker had 11. So is it really just you and James Harden? Or maybe if you played better, you could win that game? I mean, JT did have 51, so that's going to be hard to beat. But, 15 points and 9 points with that bad of shooting. Joel Embiid's shooting percentage was 27%. And Harden's was as well 27%. You're 2 dudes. If you're doing that, you're not going to win that series, or you're not going to win that game. So I feel like, you could take it either way. The way he was talking kind of sounded he was leaning more towards the not being talking about it's just him and James, and maybe the team needs, to go in a certain direction. But if he's talking about it's just him and James they didn't step up for Game 7. They disappeared, and that's what people were worried about with them.
They definitely disappeared in Game 7. All right, there's no other way to paint it. They look. here's the thing. Here's the thing with the 76ers. You had a closeout game at home, game 6, and this is what you want. You want Jason Tatum shooting terrible. Jason Tatum was shooting terrible in game 6. Then he started catching fire in the fourth quarter. But my thing is you had that game in control. You got exactly what you wanted. You had Boston's best scorer not, shooting at a good clip. And you fumbled the bag. Let's call it what it is. You let me clear my. You choked.
Yeah.
I mean, you choked away game 6 at home, and you really didn't take advantage of that at home. And so I'm just confused on, and I'm not gonna hold Embiid in the 76ers just to game 7, the poor performance. I'm looking at it as a whole, and you should have had that game at home, period. You had control. You had everything pretty much in your favor, and you didn't close the deal. And even Embiid, the full clip of that interview, he even admitted, he's like, yo, we didn't take care of business at home. And but you know what? I'm looking at this twofold. I'm looking at the fact that Embiid did take, accountability and said we didn't close it at home. So I can appreciate that from an MVP, but I can't absolve the fact that you did not shoot well in game 7. I mean, that's just the fact of the matter is, we got the performance from Jason Tatum that we were supposed to be getting from Embiid, right. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's to me, it's a real sticky situation because it's like, you don't want to put too much blame on whose fault it is, but you do got to put out blame somewhere, and right. You got to take accountability that you didn't play like an MVP in game 7. You just didn't.
No,
you just didn't. So let me ask you this though, Ed. We've already talked about coaches. Budenholzer got fired. Monty Williams got fired. Here we are again. Another Doc Rivers team doesn't get the job done. I already see you saying it. He out of there? Should he?
See, here's the difference. This is a coach, as there are players who have repeatedly, over and over again, not gotten the job done. I'm not saying he should and he will, but if he is fired, I can understand that far more than the previous two. You know what I'm saying? He hasn't gotten the job done. He just has not gotten the job done. And they didn't play bums. I mean, the Celtics, in my opinion, up and down, that's one of the most I saw that. That's like one of the most complete teams, young, but they're not inexperienced. The Celtics are good. But he didn't get it done. You have a good team in the 76ers. You know what I'm saying? That's a great team. I don't think – I'm not going to say if he should or shouldn't, but this is just more I can understand it from a front office perspective because of his reputation.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point because when you look at the reputation on Doc Rivers, I mean, win the championship in Boston in 2008. After that, didn't do too much in Boston. You end up getting fired. You go to LA. You had some squads. You had Lob City. Couldn't get the job done. I know. There's going to be some basketball people where Chris Paul got hurt. Blake Griffin got hurt. I understand that. So I don't want to hold all that against Doc Rivers. Right. You're not playing with your full squad, your full tools in the toolkit. I get that. But then you go to Philly. A couple of years back, they had the same thing happen to them when they was in control of that series against Atlanta. And then that little Trey Ice Cold put them on ice. So you're seeing time and time again that Doc is getting teams which by standards are good teams, and you keep falling short. Man, me, Anthony, Doc gotta go. I mean, it's It's one thing if he didn't have Embiid or he didn't have Harden, and Maxey wasn't doing what he was doing because Maxey played well in the postseason. James Harden had some good performances in the postseason, and then then you throw in what Embiid does. So you have full complement of your team. You didn't have no injuries on the 76ers.
Oh, not this year.
Not this year. So I mean, what's your excuse? I actually don't know what you do now. I hear Embiid say, I want James to come back. We got unfinished business, but are we going to get? To me, I think we're going to get the same result. Y'all going to keep doing the same thing again.
Yeah, I don't think him getting older is going to make this team take a next step forward. I mean, you got some young guys who can take a step forward like Maxey, but James Harden's your 1 or 2, depending on how you run your offense. And him getting older doesn't make the situation get better. So I don't know. I don't really know where they go from here. I mean, I think they're in a rough spot right now, being, bouncing the second round. I mean, their team was good enough to obviously go to the championship. Like we said, this to me was the Eastern Conference Finals right here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Miami has the firepower, though I do think they make it interesting. I don't think they have the firepower for either of these teams to move on. But I mean, it's interesting to look at because, when you lose like that, you got guys like James Harden, like, man, do I want to really come back and do this again? Are we going to be able to make a run? Or does he go, you know what? Let me go to a different team that maybe has a little bit more younger pieces, has a coach he likes. You never know, what's going to go on the head of superstars when their contract's up. He has a player option. He could do whatever he wants. So I think it's interesting, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to a situation, because now they have a question mark about their head coach. You have a question mark about your superstar. So I don't think they're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, tough spot. And Man Down Sports has a very interesting comment that speaks to that tough spot. So if you move on from Doc and reset the team momentum, you got to hit a home run with his replacement. It can't be some lukewarm stopgap coach. Unfortunately, Mike Brown isn't available. Yeah, in true point. I mean, I'm thinking, obviously Mark Jackson should be in that fold. Mark Jackson should be in fold for any coaching availability. I think hell, we don't know what happens with Ty Lue in LA. If he leaves LA, if I'm Philly, I'm calling him. Right. I mean, you definitely got to hit a home run. So those are the kind of the top 2 names off bat. Obviously, Ty Lue's not available right now, but if he comes available, he moves up to top candidate list for sure. Thomas brings up a good point. Embiid went from averaging 32 points a game in the regular season to 22 in the playoffs. That's a real drop off for me. What happened? And who knows what happened? Millwall saying, pretty much they were able to get physical with Embiid, so they probably threw him off his game. Regardless, if you're MVP, there comes a certain expectations where even if they are playing, defending you very physical, and Embiid's a big guy, he's not small, Hey, maybe find a way to be a decoy, get on the paint, get in the block, try to do your work, and if you can't get your shot off, kick it out because they're going to collapse on you. Defense is going to collapse on Embiid,
like they do to Giannis, like they do to guys like that.
Exactly like they do to Giannis, because Giannis, for the most part, isn't an outside shooter. He's trying to get to the rim or to the paint. So, maybe the kick out is available. I don't know. Maybe that is coaching. Maybe that's player. Either way, the combination isn't working in Philly. It just isn't working between the team and Doc. That's just my opinion. So, I don't know, 76ers, you got to figure out something. Here's an interesting question. I saw Steve Kerr after they got eliminated by the Lakers this past weekend, and they got throttled. I saw a quote. He said, "This team maxed out. This isn't a championship team." Now, when you hear things like that, Anthony, what's your first reaction when you hear things like that?
I was very surprised because for me, I haven't really heard a coach who just won the championship with the previous year with about the same squad. And you got some dudes in that team. I didn't expect that to come out. And then even Draymond Green said it. And then I think Curry said it. Well, they all kind of said the same thing. And to me, I looked at it as like, I was surprised. And I was kind of like, I thought it was weird the way they were kind of talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. You came in as the favorite. You, in a lot of people's eyes, you had Curry playing well some games. You had Clay playing well. I mean, he was off. I mean, they didn't play to what they were going to play. But I think, like I've been saying, I think the Lakers are just outmatching people right now with those young legs that they got now to play perimeter defense. Dudes like Hachimura who are playing amazing. I just think that they ran into the wrong matchup, in my opinion. I think that it just wasn't a good matchup. The Kings took them, but I think they matched up better with the Kings. In my opinion, I think that they would have matched up a lot better with the Suns. I think that if they ended up running to the Suns, I think they would have got by the Suns to get to the conference finals. Just because you got Wiggins to play some defense on KD. They don't have a presence down at center like AD, because that's a soft spot for them. They don't got. I mean, Looney, is a good role player, but they don't have a dominant center to really go to toe with AD, which what we saw AD was doing him in that series. I just think that it was kind of odd the way they were kind of talking about this team maxing out, this team doing this and that. I mean, in my opinion. And it's not because I like LeBron. I mean, the Warriors, what they've done over the last how many years now has been amazing. They are a dynasty. There's no question about that.
Yep.
But I feel like they've had the ball bounce their way more times than not on certain things. And I feel like if you have one situation switch here, someone don't get hurt, this person doesn't sign with your team, they might only have one championship. I think that honestly, the way things kind of unfolded, I mean, that's what any sport, but specifically the Warriors and how honed in everyone was on them and the Cavaliers, going back, back and forth. I feel like now, besides the year they lost to Toronto, they got that happened to them. They had the bad situation in that series, obviously. With KD getting hurt, dudes get hurt. Cousins, coming off an injury, whatever it may be. Thompson hurt. But I just feel like they've had the ball bounce in their court. And to kind of say, like, we maxed out our potential. If you're the defending champions, your potential the next season, if you're the same team running it back, is the championship. You didn't max out your potential.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you didn't play well this year. You were nowhere near your potential.
Yeah.
If you have the same team coming back, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. I just think it's kind of stupid because, again, KD joining, you get your 2 rings. That's not their fault. They did what they're supposed to do as a team, but you don't got KD there, they're not beating the Cavaliers again with LeBron and Kyrie. I mean, they've said it themselves. Without KD going there, they're not winning another ring there. They're not. They've said it themselves. Those are players saying it.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion, for a coach to come out who's been the coach of this dynasty now, and you just won last year against an amazing Boston Celtics team that a lot of people didn't think they'd be able to beat, and then you run it back, I don't know. I just think that was an odd comment to make.
Yeah, it was definitely I don't know. I guess uncharacteristic is characteristic is a way to say it, but it was just weird that Steve Kerr had said that, and I'm like, they maxed out and not this team isn't a championship team, and I was like, whoa, like when I hear things like that, that means that hey, we got to switch things up,
right? Yeah, that's
what I heard. And that brings me up to my next question: Should the Warriors, blow this dynasty up? You think they maxed out on that core of Curry, Draymond, and Clay? You think they maxed out?
I think that the big thing that they had going last year was guys like Poole and Wiggins doing what they were doing. Now, Wiggins was doing his thing. Poole dropped off a little bit. I just think that teams now have kind of figured out what they want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And to what Draymond Green has said with them when they had before they got KD, he said teams have kind of figured us out. They know what we want to do with the basketball. You know Curry's playing off ball. He's not your primarily ball handler. You want him going screens, doing that kind of thing. And for the most part, the Lakers shut that down.
They
Curry
did.
really didn't, like he had a game where he had 30, but they lost that game. You know what I'm saying? And the one game that the Lakers actually got blown out in, because I think they're doing a little bit too much, kind of doubling him and everything. He only had 10 points up to the third or fourth quarter. So I feel like right now the Warriors need to change some things up. I don't think you get rid of Draymond, Clay, Steph, or Wiggins. Obviously, I think those four, and even Looney, I think you're starting five right there with those five dudes, if that's what you want to call your starting five, your core. I think they're good. They can go for another run. But when you have guys like Poole not playing and, you know, you got some dudes like, some dudes step up, but like Jermichael Green and, you know, DiVincenzo and like dudes like that.
You need Kuminga to step up. Yep.
Right, Kuminga. But Kuminga had limited minutes.
Yeah.
So who knows what's going to go on with him? But dudes like that need to step up. And when they don't step up, when the last year they did, that was kind of the difference. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
I don't think they need to blow it up, but they definitely need to they need to make some moves or do something in the offseason to kind of get them, you know, a little boost. I think a morale boost even. I think they just kind of been, you know, demoralized kind of in the way this season's went, and they barely beat the Kings, and then the Lakers handled them. So I think they just need to, you know, mix some things up, but not that core.
Okay. You bring up some fair points, and here's a move that I think that the Warriors are going to regret. Moving off of James Wiseman too soon. I think they moved off of him way too soon.
I like Wiseman. Yeah.
I do too. 7'1", crazy wingspan, very athletic. And you look at how the Warriors played against the Lakers. I'm not saying they would have won the series with James Wiseman, but damn it, they would have been more competitive in that series because I think Wiseman could match up with AD with athleticism and give him a good run. Right. But to your point, I think maybe Steve Kerr might start getting into your coaching bag, start adjusting some of your things. Because had you had James Wiseman and you know, been smart enough how to use him properly, you know, because, you know, big men in Golden State are just there for rim protection, rebounds, and defense.
They're not looking to score at all.
Exactly. But Wiseman could score. So my thing is if you could have got all that you generally want from a big man, plus the scoring that you could have gotten from Wiseman, I think that'd have been a total different series with the Lakers. I mean, it's probably a move that a lot of people aren't paying attention to when they traded him. I'm like, man, y'all gave up too quick. Y'all gave up too early on him.
I like Wiseman. I like him.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying they would have won the series or hell, better yet, a championship. But to me, it creates another problem for your opposing team to defend you when you have an athletic scoring big man. It does.
Or a team like the Lakers, they like to go down low. They didn't have a really big body besides Looney. We took Looney out. You didn't have a guy that was the same stature of Looney coming in to where if you have Wiseman, you have another dude to where AD's not just going to be able to come down and take a shot where
and get whatever he wants.
Exactly. So
yeah,
I think
I'm with
that's
you on
100%.
that. I'm with you on that. Man, so how's the tri-state area up there? Are all the Knicks fans? Did they go back in hiding yet?
My grandpa's upset. He's a Knicks fan. You know, he's upset. He's watching right now. But you know, he kind of looked at it as, you know what I'm saying? It was a bright year. You know, you got guys like Brunson who stepped up, made this team very good. And like I kept saying in the offseason, I told him, like, yo, listen, you're getting this dude. He's going to fit in perfect with your team. The point guard you need. Now, there are some question marks with the Knicks. with Randall, what they're
That's
going
the
to do with
biggest
him.
one. That's the biggest one,
because
Smart.
he I saw a video of Knicks fans when they lost. They were at the Garden, I guess, for the viewing party or whatever it may be, and they had a Randall poster, like the whole team. So they had like the starters, whatever, on the wall, like blocking things off. People are going up banging on the Randall when they took it off. They're ripping it down. Like they're crazy, bro. New York fans, man, they're crazy. But yeah, he's another one. He just can't play in the playoffs. I don't know what it is. I mean, and I think people look at it as like, oh yeah, the moment's too bright. I mean, I don't know. He just cannot play in the playoffs. He can't do it. I don't know what it is, but he just cannot play in the playoffs. So you got to see what you can do with him, because he can't be your second. He can't be your first or second option. Now, if you trade him and they got a guy like Giannis to where it's him and Brunson, and you got your core of dudes like Hart and Quickly and dudes like that, like that's a championship team. But you can't look to Randall. And I don't care if he made it third team, because when it comes to the playoffs, his numbers drop drastically. His efficiency drops drastically, and you can't win a ring with that guy being your first or second option. It's just not possible at all.
Hey man, I mean, you pretty much said it all. I mean, if I'm a Knicks fan, I'm definitely looking like, hey, management, what y'all gonna do with Randall? Because the moment that you brought in Jalen Brunson, and I gotta admit, I was kind of shocked at the amount of money that they gave him, but he proved me wrong all season. He balled all season. He balled in the playoffs. So you got I think the Knicks got their one. They got their guy. Now you build around him. And the thing is the way that the Knicks competed in the playoffs, you can easily say that, hey, I can go into any war right now with Jalen Brunson. Yeah, he's going to be a small point guard, but he does so much for that team. And all you really need is to make sure that you got, the right size around him, as in, some good big men that can rebound, rim protect, and get second chance opportunities, and find a way to make sure that Jalen Brunson is your focal point in your offense, because I think it runs so much better with him and having, good, solid role players around him with some size. Hell, quite honestly, I'm not saying you dump Randall for Mikal Bridges, but I think Mikal Bridges would be awesome right next to Jalen Brunson and Josh Hart. You know what I'm saying? Because with Mikal Bridges, he may not be the bulkiest, but he has good size on him. He's going to play excellent defense, and he can give you 20 to 25. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't know if the Knicks explore that option. Maybe you should, and if y'all do, y'all need to go ahead and cut the check for I.O.W. Sports. But it's Julius Randle is. I mean, playoff time. He have you seen him? Tell me, have you seen? He disappears. I mean, there's no other way to really say it. I mean, it's almost to a point where he's such an anchor to your offensive side, because I don't know if he forgets that, hey, let's start from the inside out and get your momentum, get your easy buckets, and then move further from the basket once you start getting in rhythm. I don't know if that's it, but regardless, I'm with you. The stats show your efficiency went down dramatically. Your output, scoring wise, went down dramatically. That does not bode well in the playoffs when you're going up against a team like the Heat, which, and I'm not trying to disrespect the Heat, but outside of Jimmy Butler, nobody scared me. Nobody scared me.
They got dudes who play hard, though, and people got to look at that. There are teams who are gritty teams who, no matter, who they're going up against, they're going to play their hardest, and they're going to give them issues. Julius Randle's the kind of guy who, unlike Brunson, he came in, got that contract. You know how dudes are. They come in, they shut down. They're just playing because now they got their money. What do they want to do? Some dudes are like that. But Brunson played with a chip on his shoulder. Like, you know what? I haven't earned anything yet. I got this contract, but I haven't earned any respect yet. While Julius Randle's kind of like he's done something. Like he's done something already. and he plays without heart, in my opinion. You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fair
I
point.
feel like he don't put it on the line when it matters. Like he said, the one game, I guess they wanted it more than us. Like,
I remember that quote.
what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? You don't want to win the championship? Like, what are you talking about? Of course, your teammates might want it as much as them, but do you want it as much as them? And I don't think that when it's playoff time, he shows that he wants it. You know, dudes like Josh Hart and Brunson who are playing out of their minds and just even Hart, he doesn't like wow anybody, but he just does what he's got to do. He just does what he's got to do. And
Yeah.
Randall don't. That's as plain as you could put it. He don't do it.
Hey, you're not wrong, because my thing is at the end of the day, you know, in that series with the Heat, you literally saw that the Heat just wanted it more. And you know, speaking of the Heat, I just got to give them their props. I got to give them their flowers, give them their credit. You know, they're not going to wow you with star power on that squad. They're just not. I mean, outside of Jimmy Butler, which I don't know if you could really consider him a star. I consider Jimmy Butler a very damn good player. I don't know if I will label star on him, but you know, he sets the tone attitude wise down there, persona wise, as in, you know, we just gonna outwork everybody. Right. And that's pretty much how the Heat have been, you know, building their I guess their formula. That's just how their franchise is made up. Ever since the whole Big Three left and Coach Spo was just left there with, you know, solid role players. I mean, look what Coach Spo has been doing. In my opinion, he's one of the better coaches in the NBA right now.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, he keeps the Miami Heat relevant, keeps them playing hard. And let's be honest, there are times where I see the Heat doing things that, what are y'all doing here? Like,
yeah,
y'all shouldn't have been in the Eastern Conference Finals last year against Boston. You shouldn't have been in that bubble championship against the Lakers. What are you doing? Right. Like you got no squad, and somehow they always find a way to outplay other teams, and be in fights that they have no business being in.
Exactly, and they come out on top, and most of the time getting to the championship, getting to the Eastern Conference Finals 2 years in a row now, where people don't think they weren't even a thought in the play-in tournament. They weren't even a thought at all.
Yeah. Hey, I'm with you on that. Matter of fact, they were in the play-in tournament, first 8 seed to, I think, make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, coming through the route of the play-in, since the play-in's been in effect. So you just got to give them their credit. You just got to give them props. So let's break it down, man. You got Heat, Celtics, Nuggets, Lakers. Let's start with Nuggets and Lakers first. Give me your early predictions on this series with the Nuggets and Lakers, and who do you see coming out the West representing them in the finals?
All right, so I got the Lakers coming out to what we said earlier with AD and Jokic. If you shut down Jokic, that team's going to shut down. So if AD does what he's been doing, playing his defense, and he's going to get his offensively. Jokic is not a good defender. I think the Lakers will just keep doing what they're doing. Like I said, you know, I think it'll be Lakers in 6 games. They'll, if they steal that first game, the series are just going to keep going the same way because they just keep doing it. You know what I'm saying? They keep getting that first game, and then, you know, they lose that second game. They win those next 2, and then, you know, that to me, once the Lakers are up there with LeBron and AD and then those players, I think they win that series. I just think the Nuggets don't match up well against them. Like we've been talking about people matching up with different teams, whatever it may be. I don't think that they necessarily match well with the Lakers, and I got them coming on top.
Nice. Appreciate it, Frank, man. Join us every Monday and Thursday, 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we have a late night show Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. to midnight. So, hey, tap in with us, I.O.W. Sports Network, Facebook, Instagram, and most importantly, YouTube. So appreciate the love, Frank. I'm with you, AR. I'm going Lakers, but I'm actually going 7. And the reason why I'm only going 7 is because I'm taking a little bit into account of what my man Melvin Wall has been saying. And if you really look at how they've been officiating, defending Jokic is pretty much you're not able to really put your hands on them, hands off the merchandise, and can't really body up on him. So I hate putting that into my reason for that, but you got to be realistic in what you see and how things are in certain games are reffed. I can see, especially at home, there's going to be some whistles that the Lakers won't get. There's going to be some whistles that the Nuggets will get, especially at home. But man, the Lakers are going to have to steal at least either game 1 or 2 in Denver. They're going to have to steal one of them. Like you have pointed, the trend is they get game 1. I'm cool if they get game 1, but they got to at least get one of those first 2 games in Denver to really solidify both of our takes to advance past Denver and get to the Western Conference Finals. I damn sure think they got to get one of those games for sure. But I'm with you with because the only thing that really scares me about the Nuggets is when you start seeing everybody not named Jokic get into double figures. You start seeing Aaron Gordon put up 15, KCP puts up 15, Porter Jr. puts up 15 to 20, Jamal Murray's putting up 20 to 25. If that happens, then the Lakers are in trouble because that means that everybody else is getting theirs and Jokic is just, being Mr. Distributor, racking up 10 plus assists. And at some point, you were like, all right, well, we've been putting so much focus on Jokic, everybody else is getting off. Let's start worrying about everybody else. And then next thing you know, Jokic starts putting in his 20 to 25 and add that to probably the 10, 15 assists and another 10 to 15 rebounds he's going to. Right. Hopefully he doesn't. If Jokic averages a triple-double, damn it, Lakers. That's the only thing I can really say. Like, damn, it's going to be real difficult to get past the Nuggets cooking on all cylinders and Jokic is putting up averaging a triple-double in the series. So avoid that. But I'm still sticking with the Lakers 7. So this, I got to admit, as a Lakers fan, and my fellow Lakers fans don't jump on me, this is my first series that I'm picking the Lakers to win. I just thought that I thought Memphis will get them, and I thought Golden State would get them. So, hey, they've been proving me wrong. So, hey, sometimes you're wrong, sometimes you're right when you do this podcast shit. It is what it is. Let's move on to Eastern Conference Finals. You have, of course, the before mentioned Miami Heat. They will be taking on the Boston Celtics. We get a repeat of last year's Eastern Conference Finals, which went 7, by the way, last year, and the Heat had a chance to win it. They came up just a little short with the Jimmy Butler shot in that game 7. So, AR, break it down, man. Give us your thoughts and opinion. Who's going to win this Eastern Conference Finals and come out the East, man?
Man, I really don't want to put anything against the Heat right now. They're just surprising everybody. I mean, I'm just going to say it. If things go the way they're supposed to, it should be Boston in 5 or 6 games at the most. There should be no reason why it goes past that. But, man, I mean, the Heat are just finding a way to win when they're not supposed to. Mm-hmm. I feel like if the Celtics don't put them away early, that series is going to go on much longer than it's going to have to be. Just like we said with them in the 76ers series, I mean, they technically could have swept them, if we're being completely honest. Like, if they win that game 1 and that, that shot that Marcus Smart took like 2 milliseconds too late, goes in, or not milliseconds, 2 tenths of a second late goes in, that series is sweep.
Yeah.
let the Hawks stick around a little bit too long. You know what I mean? Let the Hawks pull out 2 games at home and make it interesting. So I feel like if the Celtics, play with their food a little bit and let the Heat get confidence, I see no reason why the Heat can't, pull it out somehow. I think that there's a very good chance that if the Heat are hot and the Celtics don't just end it when they're supposed to, they may allow the Heat to have the upset. But if I'm being realistic and things should happen the way it is, I think it's Boston about 5 or 6. But who knows? Really, who knows?
Yeah.
What this team is.
It's funny that you say all of that because I feel the same exact way. And you said it. You said play with the food, and that was going to be the first thing that I said because, I mean, they've done it this whole postseason. Is stop playing with your food, Boston. You are the better team. To me, there's no other way around it. Miami, Boston, matchup wise, Boston is the better team. They just are.
Even if you look at it, sorry to cut you off. I mean,
go ahead.
even Butler Brown, that matchup on the roster, there's people who would take Brown over Butler. There's really not a matchup that you look at for Heat Celtics where you go, you know what, that player outplays that player is better, besides Butler. And some people take Brown over Butler, it's depending on how you look at it. So they're outmatched completely in this series. It's not even close in this series.
Yeah. That Tyler Hero injury, I think that's a big difference in this series too. Even though how I feel about Tyler Hero, I think he's kind of inconsistent with his 3-point shooting, but he is an offensive threat, and the fact that Miami is missing that, and they pretty much missed that this whole postseason because I think Tyler Hero went out the first game that they played in the play-in series or something like that.
No, I believe it was the same game Giannis got hurt. He had gotten hurt too.
Oh yeah, in the first round. Yeah. You're right. You're absolutely right. So, but for the most part, they pretty much played without Tyler Hero this whole postseason. Mm-hmm. So the fact that they got to the Eastern Conference Finals without one of their shooters, I gotta say this. Now, although Bam Adebayo, he still is effective on the defensive side, cleaning up the glass, getting his rebounds. If the Heat are going to win this, they need more from him on the offensive side. We know what Bam brings on the other end of the floor. Yeah. But he has to at least chip in 15 to 20. Average that to even have the Heat have a chance. Because it can't be about Jimmy Butler scoring, 56 points and 42 points back to back.
I don't think that's going to happen this series because of the way the Celtics are built at guard. With Brown and Smart, I'm saying Jimmy's going to get his, but I don't think you're going to see a game where Jimmy has 52 points or, something like that. I feel like this is going to be a very a strategically sound game plan from the Heat. And you got to have guys who I like Bam. I think that Bam can really, have an influence on the game if he plays his game. You're going to have guys like that just win their matchup and not rely on Butler dropping 52 points because against the Knicks, you can do that. You know what I'm saying? Brunson and Barrett aren't the most defensive-oriented players. And the same thing with the Bucks. I mean, Drew Holiday is a good defensive player, but, I just think it's going to be a little bit different the way the Celtics are built to where you can't just be like, all right, let's have Jimmy score 49 this game. He'll bail us out. Against a team this talented, I don't think that works. You got to have guys who are going to, produce at a high clip more than they've been producing if you want to win. And Bam Adebayo, like you said, I agree 100% that he's going to have to be that guy who really, I gotta really step up here. That's how his mindset has to be. Yeah.
I mean, it's you got a whole bunch of undrafted players that just been playing like dogs, and don't get me wrong, heart and will to win that does matter. But when you're going up against a team like you said, like Boston, which I think are just severely, far more better than what Miami is collectively. The defensive prowess that, Their guards are going to play with Tatum, Smart, and Brown. So your backcourt is going to have to do double time to try to even combat how good that backcourt of Boston is playing defense. And then if you even get past him, Robert Williams, man, I was watching the game the other day. Like, Embiid couldn't even guard Robert Williams.
He's a good center. He's a good center.
I think Robert Williams is a solid center. So matchup wise, man, I know the Heat went 7 with him last year, but I'm going Boston, and I want to say 6, but I'm gonna go 7 because I got a feeling they're gonna play with the food a little bit too much, and they're gonna give momentum for Miami, and Miami's gonna steal maybe 1 or 2 games in Boston, and they're gonna steal a home game. So there's 3 right there that I think that they could possibly take. So they're probably gonna steal either game 1 or 2. They're probably gonna steal game 5 in Boston. And then it's pretty much, first to 4 after that. That's what really kills me about Boston is where's your killer instinct to say, hey, man, bump all this. Damn the X's and O's. Damn all the, trying to come up with strategies. Damn it. Throw it out the window. We're the Boston Celtics. They're the Miami Heat. We're better than them. Hey, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, go ball out. Like at some point, just throw it all out the window and say, hey, just stop playing with these cats. Go get your buckets. At some point, Joe Mazzulla has got to just put his faith in his players and realize that he has the better squad. Let them work. Yeah. Let them work, and just as a coach, just be in their ear, be like, hey, finish the job. Finish the job. Finish the job. Because the more and more and more momentum you keep giving Miami, and especially Jimmy Butler, who is pretty much the driving force of the Miami Heat, and if he starts cooking and the rest of the team starts feeding off of him, that's when you playing with fire, and you're going to mess around and not make it back to the finals. But I'm with you, Boston get it, but just something about them, the way that they keep playing with their food this postseason, I can definitely see it going 7 just because, and just to steal from what you said, I hate to go against Miami because they've been proving a lot of people wrong, and a lot of people has doubted them because nobody expected them to be in this position. I mean,
me wrong. I said they were getting swept in the first round.
But I mean, but we saw what we saw of the Heat in the regular season. You're like, there's no way these cats are even going to come out the play-in tournament.
You can't blame people for it, but they've been proving everybody wrong.
A lot of people wrong, including us, and I'm okay to admit it when I was wrong. The Heat have just wheeled their way through situations that I thought they had no business even doing, and just got to give them credit. But all right, our last topic of the NBA. And it sucks that we're talking about this because we talked about this guy about a month and a half ago, a couple of months ago, and yet here we are again. And so, Anthony, you're part of this whole social media movement in because of your age. You're 19, 20 years old, so you're part of the social media age. I'm in my mid 30s, and I can remember a rotary phone. You know what I'm saying? I remember landlines. Like, you probably don't even have a landline. So I need your expertise to kind of break it down on the thought process of guys your age. And so there's a guy out there that plays in Memphis, and he's about 23 years old, and he's closer to your age group. Explain to me the thought process of a guy that has millions of hundreds of dollars, pretty much the world at his feet. He can pretty much do whatever he wants financially. And, I believe in my Second Amendment rights. I do.
Me too.
Matter of fact, I have about 4 pistols scattered around the house. Just understand that if you come to my house, I'm never too far away from a pistol. So if you break into my house, good luck for you. But one thing that I don't do is I don't play with them.
Right.
Guns are not toys. Guns are there for my Second Amendment right to protect myself and my family and my household. That's the point of it.
Exactly.
Matter of fact, I don't even touch them. Matter of fact, my family can walk past them and they wouldn't even know they were there because they're not for fun. They're not for play.
It's serious.
So it's something serious. Yes, it's something serious. So John Morant got in trouble a few months ago. You know, he had a couple of situations, and then you saw him on the IG Live in the strip club with the little pistol, holding it like a little, we knew you weren't thugging and bugging Ja the way you held that little 22 up. All right. So you got suspended, you took time away, and we thought you learned something. Lo and behold, late Saturday night, early Sunday morning, boom. Ja's in the Jeep with his homies. Oh, he does it again. So help me out, Anthony. I'm not saying everybody around your age group is thinking like this, but for him, can you help me with some insight on what's going on? What's going on with Ja?
I honestly can't tell you, to be honest. Like, I'll put it into perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
When you take money out of it, take fame out of it, whatever it may be. I play football, right? As you know, I'll come on here and talk about I play football. I decided to stay home, play Division III because I just love the game. I love the game, and I want to be able to play it for as long as I can in college and be able to get my degree because I love the game of football. And like I said, I played at Division III school. I got no $1 million NILs. I don't got, I'm not publicized like someone who makes millions of dollars, things like that. And I wouldn't go on IG Live with a gun to ruin my opportunity just to play the sport I love. Take everything out of it. Now, like you said, Second Amendment, 100%. I've grown up around guns. My dad loves to hunt. Shooting range. When I was like 10 years old, going to the shooting range, shooting the plastic discs out the sky, shooting targets. I've always been taught that it's not a toy. You can end somebody's life with it. You can end your own life with it accidentally.
Mm-hmm.
So there are people who have been like, hey, what about the Second Amendment? He's allowed to have a gun. Well, no, duh. But even if he has it on him, you don't go around flaunting the gun, waving it around. I'm sorry, you're not someone who goes around and gangbangs. You're an NBA basketball player who has millions of dollars from endorsements because you're supposed to be a role model for the youth and someone people looks to buy and invest in their product. I've been thinking, about this question all day. I was at the gym earlier. I was watching Shannon Sharp talk about it. And, it's just, why are you trying to be somebody you're not? Ruin what you've worked so hard for and what so many people can only hope to achieve in their life. I mean, millions upon millions of people play sports, all different kinds, all different levels. And I mean, people who don't play sports, you can go up to anybody right now who, this is what Shannon Sharp had said, anybody who actually lives that kind of lifestyle to make a living and to provide for their family, who resorts to those kind of tactics with guns, whatever it may be. He goes, if an NBA executive walked up to them and go, listen, we're going to give you, I forgot what he said, how much money, but John Morant's contract, everything he gets, and you play basketball, but you got to stop living the way you do, doing the things you do. You think that they would say, nah, you know what? Screw that. I'm not going to do that. Bro, you're playing basketball. And you're so well off for your family, for yourself, for your future generations. There are going to be people in your family line who don't even know who you are. But there are going to be okay because of the sacrifices you have made in your life to get to this position. And to me, it just speaks of immaturity. It speaks of, I feel like he don't want to take it seriously at this point in his life. He don't want to take it seriously. It isn't like you are posting a picture on your Instagram where you're at a shooting range. You're doing something responsible with a gun. Nobody, I don't care how experienced you are with a gun, should be waving it around in a car. And I don't mean to get graphic, but there was a video on Instagram, like one of those like restricted pages to where like the content is age restricted. You can only view it if you're a certain age.
Yeah.
People in a car, someone has a handgun, and the owner of it, is like the woman has it and the guy in the back seat, and she's joking around, whatever, turns, accidentally pulls the trigger, shoots the dude in the head. And it's somebody that is either her boyfriend, her brother, her cousin. A gun is nothing to be played around with, and that is why they're taking this so seriously.
Yeah.
And people questioning why they're taking it so seriously is because it is a lethal weapon.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? He's not holding around a sparkler on 4th of July. He has a handgun. He has a gun that can at any moment kill himself or somebody around him. And
You're right, man.
So it's not a good look for the youth or for people to look at that, especially people who are older. They're like, oh, this is who I'm watching playing basketball, someone who's making irresponsible decisions and playing around with a handgun. It's just not a good look. So whatever goes his way, I don't care how egregious it is. I don't care if he is just completely expelled from the NBA. He was told that was his one chance after everything that happened to make it right. And you went completely against your word and did something again that you said you wouldn't do. So at this point, he has earned everything.
Man. Hey, Anthony. Hey, man. You making some waves. I'm with Mel. Hey, man, you broke this down very well. And I'm gonna take some piece of what you said because, man, you're 100% correct on everything you said. My thing is I'm gonna start right here. I'm gonna start with the people that say, oh, well, Josh shouldn't be nobody's role model. That's what parents are for. And yes, I agree with you. I agree with people who say that. I'm one of those type of parents where, I want my kids to see how mom and dad do it and let us be your role models on how to be a good person of society. But let's be realistic. When you have that type of status, when you have that type of money, whether you want it or not, there's going to be people looking at you and look at you as a role model, whether you want it or not. It just comes with the territory. That's just part of it. The moment that you sign that mega deal to make all this money to play a kid's sport, to play basketball, football, baseball, hockey, you're put on a different level. And people are going to look at you, whether you want it or not, as a role model. That's just a fact. All right. So I'm gonna start right there. Now I'm looking at Ja in his situation where he's not making the right decisions. And you said one thing that really triggered me. You said he went back on his word. You know what happens when you go back on your word? They get rid of you. Yep. Go ask Kareem Hunt. Being a Chiefs fan, a lot of people don't know this about the Kareem Hunt situation when he got in trouble in Cleveland, kicked the young lady outside the hotel room. So here's the deal. See, Kareem Hunt could have still been a Kansas City Chief. You know what really got him released from Kansas City? Is because he lied to the organization about the situation because they already knew about it. And it wasn't until the video came out and they was like, yo, what you told us is not what we saw. And so that's what got him fired from Kansas City. And so when you said that, I'm like, boom, there it is. When you go back on your word as a adult and saying, hey, hey, man, yeah, I messed up. Yeah, I'm going to take the time out. I'm going to go get right. I'm going to do better. And your organization is behind you saying, okay, well, we hear you. We're here to support you. We're here with all the resources that you that you think you may not need. We got them here for you to help you through this situation, to get better, to think better, be mentally better. Because at the end of the day, the whole basis of your thesis is 100% right. These are guns. These are not sparklers. These ain't no firecrackers. These ain't no, BB guns and nothing like that. These are guns that project bullets that will end people's lives. And where do you find the thought process that this is something to play with? And my biggest thing about the whole Ja Morant situation is you're on that status. You're portraying like you in some rap video with the guns and all this stuff. And my thing is there are people out there in the world that really do live like that, right, that got that mentality. And guess what? He plays in Memphis, Tennessee. And there's some people in Memphis, Tennessee that are really about that life, that live there. And you keep flashing this gun more than once, eventually in my opinion, I think Ja is opening himself up for a can of worms for a lot of stuff that he's not ready to deal with, and that you shouldn't have to deal with, because there's going to be people in Memphis that's going to pull up on Ja, be like, "Oh wait, well you on IG thugging and bugging all the time. Right. Well, what's up? We really want to see you about that." Right. And there's going to be some people that's going to test him, and he's going to be put in a situation where, well, do I continue with the act, and it might be a bad situation? Or do I just be like, hey, man, I'm a civilian, man. That ain't me. That was a mistake. Right. But either way, Ja Morant, don't put yourself in that situation, because there's cats in Memphis that they gonna pull your card, man. They gonna see if you really about that, like you really, if you really about that. Mel says, I'm gonna be honest, I want Ja to fail at everything he does until he changes. And I say that out of love. That's the only thing that can save him.
Got to go through something.
You know what, man? Man, that's some profound shit right there. And at first, when I saw your comment, I was like, wow, you want him to fail. But then as I'm reading it out loud in the rest of your statement, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mel, you can jump in the comments. To me, if you hit rock bottom, it's almost like, well, damn. Maybe he needs something like that. He needs a rock bottom aha moment, epiphany, to be like, yo, I literally had the world at my feet and I blew it up trying to be thugnificent. You know what I'm saying? Like at some point, like you gotta find a way to break his mental thought processes on that. This shit ain't nothing to play with. This ain't fun. You're supposed to be the basketball player, man. You're supposed to be a basketball player. So, I mean, whew.
And he was a fan favorite coming out of Murray State, right? He went to Murray State, right?
Yeah.
Everyone loved Ja Morant because he was that underdog dude that everyone loved, and he showed to have good character and to have his things, in order. And right now it's the complete opposite. It seems like he's turned into a completely different person now that he has that status, that money and fame that he didn't have.
Oh, this is interesting. Mel says Brick Baby, who is a known Crip, already said he wanted to have a sit down with Ja. He said he owed money for using them gang signs without permission. So there's already people out there that's not feeling what you're doing, Ja.
Right.
Real people.
And where he plays at, where he lives, where he goes to work. You never know. You mess with the wrong people, they'll find you, especially someone who is of such a high status in social media presence. And everyone knows in Memphis where the Grizzlies play at. You know what I'm saying? That's not hard to find. So I feel like he's putting himself into danger.
Yes.
More than just losing your money and stuff like that. You could lose your life for messing around with the wrong people that you have no business, and you have no correlation with yourself.
I agree wholeheartedly, and that's why I brought up the fact that he is in Memphis, and there are cats like that will pull up on him because and I know a lot of people may not be familiar with Young Dolph. Young Dolph is a rapper, was a rapper from Memphis. He got killed in his own city. He got killed in his own city, and Young Dolph has the same amount of status as Ja Morant does. People know who Young Dolph is, and they killed him in his own city. So what makes you think, Ja, that you can't be touched in Memphis? Or better yet, you throwing up all them gang signs and pulling up guns? You play basketball in LA at least probably for what, 4 times a year? I mean, don't get me started on the gang culture in LA. Don't think that ain't nobody in LA ain't gonna pull up on you. Don't think you go to New York.
Right.
You know, you play in New York. There's gangs in New York. Don't think that ain't nobody ain't gonna try to pull up on you in New York.
You play in major cities. Like, you play in cities who have the reputation of having that going on. So it's not like you play out in the middle of nowhere, you know what I'm saying, where 100 people live. You live in cities with millions upon millions of people who live there, and you're being disrespectful. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that, right or wrong, you know what I'm saying, that these people are doing the right thing on a moral level, but they do it. You know what I'm saying? Right or wrong, they do it. So to them, they're serious about it. You know what I'm saying? That's
their lifestyle.
Life. That's what they do.
Yeah, exactly. That's their lifestyle.
So for you to be on this level that, you know what I'm saying, you got more than them. You're making millions upon millions of dollars, fame, anything you want. And then you're going to act like you're doing the same things they are. That's where the disrespect comes in. Because you're not going through what they go through. They live a rough life, right or wrong. They live a rough life that you're not living. You're living an easy life. You play a sport and make millions of dollars.
You're perpetrating. Where we come from, we call that perpetrating. You put up a false facade and you putting an image out there of yourself, and you not that guy. And so matter of fact, Mel said he just sent me the link. I'm gonna play it real quick because I'm pretty sure there's some audio to it. But I mean, I just don't get. Matter of fact, here it is. I'm gonna pull it up real quick and we're gonna get this in here. All right.
John Morant, basketball player.
It's a parade inside my city.
He's gotten in a lot of trouble. He was on video, flashing what looked like a gun on Instagram Live, man. He's also been, accused of, threatening mall securities and
whooping kids' ass and all type of shit.
Getting in all types of trouble, man.
That's another one of them fake rapping ass niggas.
He got a $200 million contract.
Yeah. What the fuck you want to live like a rapper for? If you ain't from the trenches, why do you get money and want to live like this where you from? And everybody that's in the trenches want to be like you. The fuck are you even doing? You got 200 million. We know it's a gun somewhere around you. You got security. Outside of your homeboys or whoever and then nobody even bringing light to the fact that this bitch ass nigga Ja that told him it wasn't his gun. Oh, it wasn't even my gun in the video. So who gun was it, Ja? I'd take the case for him though. It was my gun for sure. Give me $1 million. It was my gun. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't tripping and I feel the people around him, but it's like, hey, you already going against the community rules. This trench life you trying to live, you can't say it wasn't your gun now. You was just in the camera, so what? Somebody else got to get in trouble for your dumbass being in the strip club pulling out a blick? Like, come on, let's make it make sense. Like, I with John Morant, but you a suburban black kid. Be a suburban black kid. Your dad did all that shit to get you to the NBA, my nigga.
Boom.
Play basketball.
That's the best way to sum it up. That's not you, Ja. You are a black suburban kid. Your dad did everything to take you away from what you trying to portray, and you want to act like you back in that.
Right.
Come on, Ja. All right, that's it. We ain't talking about it no more because we got Ja. If you so happen to see this, man, you got to do better, bro. And I got to point out this. Let's stop enabling him. And what I mean by that is, all you sports casters on ESPN, FS1, and I'm talking about you, Jalen Rose. Stop trying to enable this dude. You know, because the first time it happened, Jalen Rose, I was John Morant. Oh, come on, man, stop, because you're enabling the behavior. You need Jalen Rose and all these other former NBA players. They need to be the ones to pull him to the side and be like, "Hey, bro, let it go. This ain't it. Let it go." Like you can't keep enabling the same behavior that is going to put this guy into danger. That's going to cause him to possibly lose endorsements, possibly lose his contract money. And here's the biggest thing. To go back to your point when you say he lied to the organization and went back on his word, you know what that does? Contractually, that gives him an out of the contract.
Exactly.
I need people to realize this. That gives the Memphis Grizzlies a way out of their contract from paying you. Because you at this point is not the fact that you're exercising your Second Amendment. No, that's not the issue. It's the fact that you're brandishing a weapon for no reason. And that puts a negative image not only for yourself, but it puts a bad image on the organization. It puts a bad image on the NBA. So that's why you're suspended again. And hell, you better hope that you ain't out the league, because eventually you keep doing it enough and you keep getting into situations like this more and more. The NBA ain't even going to want to keep dealing with it.
Exactly.
So come on, man. Come on, Ja. Tighten up, my boy. You got to do better. Let's move on to some other news, other things in sports to talk about. So the sale of the Washington Commanders finally went through. Josh Harris, who I think he owns the Washington Wizards, I believe. So nobody quote me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong. Him and a group with Magic Johnson as well. The sale of the Commanders, $6.5 billion, finally went through. Kind of give me your thoughts, AR, of the Snyders finally being out of the NFL. Good move for the NFL. You like it? Tell me your thoughts, man.
All right, one thing. My computer's about to die. I'm going to switch over to my phone real quick. So
yeah,
I'm going to answer the question when I get back real quick.
Now, go ahead.
Right back.
Yeah. While Anthony does that, I'll give my thoughts on Dan Snyder finally being out. And I got to admit, it doesn't really change how the NFL is structured, because you still have you still got the pretty much the core of the good old boys of the ownership in the NFL. So I will say this: is one less a-hole in ownership in NFL, but there's still far other more. So it doesn't really change the landscape how the NFL operates. All it means is just one less bad apple owner that you have to worry about. That's the only thing I can take away from Dan Snyder selling the team. So AR is back. Kind of give me your thoughts on Dan Snyder finally being out as a owner of the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, so I mean, the Washington Commanders, they come to their or something they've done, something they do, something they plan to do. Who's your bad manager? You know, don't have a team. Does all those things, and they're looked at as a team that's good management. I mean, even things that the level of a organization is simple, something as simple as the thing for Taylor's Memorial. Like, that's what you do, like a stringed mannequin to honor one of the greats of your team that brought so much popularity to your team, a fan favorite who died at such a young age. That's how you remember him, and that's something small. Like, as an organization, you can get something like that right. I mean, easy. Like the Panthers for Sam Mills.
Mm-hmm.
Big statue that was beautiful in front of the stadium. Just something simple like that. And then, they're under trouble for, and investigations. It was just time for them to say, you know what, this business is not for us no more. Let's sell the team, and that's what they did.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's funny that you brought up the Sean Taylor Memorial, and I didn't really even think about that. And now that I hear you talk about it, like, yeah, that's weird that they mishandled something as small as that, and they didn't even put the care and effort into doing all that. When Sean Taylor, God rest his soul, he helped bring you a lot of money, Dan Snyder, and that's how you repay that man. It was unfortunate what happened to him, but I think anybody who ever saw Sean Taylor play, they'd be like, "Yo, he's going to be one of the greats."
Right, Hall of Fame. That's what everyone thought. Hall of Fame career. You know what I'm saying? Going to be one of the best players to maybe ever do it at safety, and to get it cut short. It's tragic.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you don't even properly, give him the respect and honoring his life that was cut way too early. Like, so even you fumbling that, and it kind of ties into how the whole mess of Dan Snyder handled that franchise. I mean, like you said, numerous investigations for sexual harassment, building a bad work environment, discrimination. The list goes on and on of really D-bag things that Dan Snyder did. And so, I mean, good riddance.
About time things, started to change around that organization.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't start from the bottom up. Sometimes the other way around. Sometimes, it's the leader, the person who is, leading the organization or whatever it may be. Time for a switch up. And I think that's what happened. They got to switch it up.
Hey, I'm with you on that. Sometimes you got to cut the head off a snake, man. And, it was just time for him to, finally just go off. And look, I know he's selling the team, but I still, inside, I feel some type of way that the fact that this dirtbag gets to walk away with $6 billion. I still feel some type of way about it.
A lot of money.
That's a lot of money. Like, and I said this before on the show, and I'm gonna say it again. The moment that he walks away with that $6 billion check, there should be a gang of women and other minorities who felt like Dan Snyder was a total D-bag and did them wrong. They need to be filing civil suits the moment he gets that damn check. Be like, hey, pimp, I see you got $6 billion. You need to come up off that. Let me get some of that. For real, man. I'm just saying. Hey, let's keep it across the board. All I'm saying is, for all the times and all the 28 cases and 30 cases that was against Deshaun Watson, there needs to be the same amount, if not more, when Dan Snyder get that $6 billion check. Mm-hmm. Because if we're gonna have the civil suits against Deshaun Watson and say that he's a dirtbag and go after his money the moment he got paid from the Cleveland Browns, right. To me, I got a bigger chance of getting some of that $6 billion dollar pot than that $230 million that Deshaun got.
Right.
So for the ladies out there that were done wrong by Dan Snyder, for all the other people that was done wrong by Dan Snyder, go hit up Tony Busby, the lawyer who had all the women lined up against Deshaun Watson. Y'all need to go get Tony Busby, and I'm gonna need y'all to go ahead and knock at Dan Snyder's door and say, hey man, yeah, that $6 billion, yeah, you're not seeing all that, dog. Yeah, you're not gonna see all that. Yeah, you need to come off for all that. You need to pay restitution. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Let's keep that same energy across the board, y'all.
Yeah, it got to be universal. It can't just be, for a player or a staff member. If the owner does something on the same level, the owner's a regular person.
Mm-hmm.
Just because you got money, you're not on any sort of status that nobody else is on. You know what I'm saying? If you do it, you deserve to face consequences. You know what I'm
Yes.
There are people who get arrested for stealing a candy bar out of a store,
Mm.
but just because somebody who has a lot of money and influence, who's owner of a franchise, is sexually assaulting women. If those things are true, then you've got to have law and order in these cases. If that's happening to a player, there's a lot of things with Deshaun Watson, like, oh, it didn't really happen. There was conspiracy theories that there was something with the organization of the Texans that they were trying to do to harm Watson because of what he did. You know what I'm saying? We throw it all out the window. Face value. If they both did the same thing wrong,
Mm-hmm.
same amount of attention and the same kind of trial or, whatever it may be, that they both did the same thing.
Yeah.
One or the other. And
Yeah.
as Roger Goodell is a commissioner, you have to make sure that those things are seen through, that it is equally treated the same way. You can't have any sort of favoritism. You can't have any sort of, we'll let that go by because he's an owner. No, it has to be equal across the board. So hopefully, if those things have to go through trial, whatever it may be, like I didn't pay attention because probably a lot of these things happened before I even was, you know what I'm saying, paying attention and watching football on on a level. I wasn't paying attention to favorite when I was little, So I don't know, what these cases or whatever it may be. But if again they both happen, they got to be treated the same way.
I don't know, without a doubt. And you know what? To be honest, if I'm Roger Goodell, and I understand that the owners pretty much I work for them, but if you having all this trouble with Dan Snyder or say another owner, my thing is the owner should be held to a higher standard.
Right. Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like the owners, like this is what kills me. Okay, so look, and I'm gonna speak on it because I understand. Look, I get it. Players are gonna, they're humans. They're gonna make mistakes and they're gonna get in trouble. And whatever bylaws you got to punish them, follow it. Cool, whatever. But for me, when you see Jim Irsay, the Colts owner, he got in trouble for DUI. So his punishment should have, at least at minimum been the same type of punishment that you give a running back or a fullback or linebacker, but maybe take it a step further, because when you are an owner, you're supposed to be you're at the top. You're supposed to be in my opinion, when you're the owner, you're supposed to be the most squeakiest clean of individuals in the whole organization.
Yeah, we talk about players and coaches. I mean, you own the team.
Yeah.
The big thing with the Suns coach, the Suns owner is you're the owner of the franchise. You can't be getting into altercations on the court with a player. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one's perfect. No one is more like, automatically just because you're an owner, you're better than somebody else on a moral level or on following rules or whatever it may be. But I mean, that comes with power and influence. It comes with responsibility. So you have to know that you, as an owner of a team, you have to live a life where you're very cautious about what you do and say.
Mm-hmm. And not only that, you can't be mad when all of a sudden, players are getting in trouble, and then you look around and you seeing the people who are at the top of these organizations getting in trouble too. Right. And my thing is like, I get it. You can't stop everybody and every last player on your organization from getting in trouble because they're humans. But my thing is when you're at the top of your organization, you should be the one setting an example of the behavior that you want.
The standard.
Yes. Thank you.
Play for this team, you act like me. You can't be going around doing stuff like that, and then someone does something minor.
Yeah.
And, you can cut them or you get rid of them for that. But you at the top is sitting there and doing things that are extremely far worse.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not how things should work.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you because oh my God, Anthony, you're so good. You brought up a good point because if a player does something like DUI or got caught with weed or something like that, I can just cut them, release them,
whatever it may be.
Yeah, but what's the consequence to the owner? The most that can happen is if anything, lose a draft pick or a fine.
Right.
You don't get released. You don't get cut from the team.
Right. And that's the sad thing is that, realistically, and it's just the way it is. Like I say, when it comes to the John Morant situation, so many people play sports, and there are so many people who are looking to be a sports player. There's not the same pool for billionaires and people who want to play football. And that's just that's really the issue. And it's not an issue, it's just how it is. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Not everyone's a billionaire, but anybody really can lace up some cleats and go play football.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way the situation is. That's why the owners, at the end of the day, they're the ones who control it. So if they do something wrong, they're like, hey, whatever, I'll pay this person off. I'll do that. I'm not going to get in trouble. But a player, they got to walk a fine line. There's people who are coming out of college. They could all play football. Not everyone got, like you said, $6 billion laying around to go buy a team. It's just not possible. So that's part of why the situation is the way it is.
I feel you, man. It's to me, it's a real messed up dynamic when it comes to punishing people of different statuses that do the same thing. And it's like come on, man, like you can't make that different type of punishment because this person has this a deeper wallet than that guy. Like, to me, and we say it all the time on the show, like sports is a mirror image of our society. And unfortunately, you see that outside of football, outside of baseball, outside of basketball, where you see people who are in positions of power get away with a shit ton of crap, and people who are less fortunate and may not have the funds may do the same thing, and yet they'll build a jail on top of them. But you barely even want to slap the wrist of a person with deep pockets, and I just hate to see it. Good riddance, Dan Snyder, but damn it, I'm telling you, Tony Busby better be at your door the moment you get that $6 billion check with a whole line of people around the corner ready to get their cut, because you done a lot of people wrong. And just because you didn't really get found guilty in the court of law, trust me, you're guilty in the court of public opinion. And a lot of people are happy that you are gone. I'm not happy that you're getting $6 billion, but good riddance. That's one less dirtbag owner in the NFL. There's a couple of others that need to go, Jerry Jones. But so we'll have that discussion another day. But man, we're gonna shut down shop, man. Man, Anthony, man, I gotta applaud you, man. Thank you for joining the show, man. You brought a great energy today, and I gotta commend you, man. You brought up some damn good points. I know the first time you were on the show, you said you want to do more podcasting, and guess what, my man? You have a future in podcasting. You have exactly what it takes to do it, man. So I definitely appreciate you joining the show.
Thank you. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt. Before we get out of here, man, give the people all your social media platforms so they make sure they can go follow you, because I'm telling you, y'all, this is the future of podcasting right here. Y'all make sure y'all tap in with my man AR on his TikTok, his Instagram, and his YouTube channel, and go ahead and give him the address, all those, Anthony.
Yeah, so again, YouTube and TikTok are the same. It's PR3Z Sports. For some reason on YouTube, I don't know why, you search up my name, it isn't popping up yet. I don't know why. Maybe it's because of the new channel, whatever. But on my TikTok, if you don't have it, whatever. But I'm going to put the link of my YouTube into my Instagram, because I was just thinking about it. Because on my TikTok, I have it linked, and it goes right to the page, and you have no problem. So I'm going to do that on Instagram. My Instagram's AnthonyR3204. And, on TikTok and YouTube, it's PR3Z Sports. So I'll make sure I'll get that all situated.
Nice. And of course, y'all make sure y'all can follow me personally. If you want to chop it up with me on a real personal tip, talk some sports on Twitter, KC Wildcard Mar, Facebook and Instagram, Wildcard Mar. And you can always follow all of our I.O.W. sports content on the I.O.W. Sports Network YouTube channel. You can follow us, I.O.W. on Facebook and Instagram as well at I.O.W. Sports Network, and on Twitter at I.O.W. Sports 1. Again, big shout out to my man Anthony, came in here. It just was me and him today. We don't have the whole gang of I.O.W. Sports. Nick is nursing ACL surgery, so well wishes to Nick. Get better, come back stronger than ever. Unfortunately, you got your knee fixed. We can't fix your actual appearance of your face. That's unfortunate. So, but but please get better, Nick. Detroit Mel, he's in Detroit, hanging out with family. So we understand him not being here, but man, it was a blast. It was a pleasure having Anthony with me today. And look, y'all make sure y'all tap in with me and the partner MJ. We're going to be live at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the late night owl edition of I.O.W. Sports. Monday through Thursday, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hey, and we're going to wrap this up. Y'all come back 247, episode 247 on Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, Wildcard Mar, my man AR, we out the building. Peace and love, y'all. Y'all be good.